Okay, so let's go over this account. This is my new solo trap. It sits at about 230 million might at this time. And reason why, and as you've seen before, that I'm getting a lot of hits just sitting on this account, and they're not even thinking about it, and they're just blind hitting it. I have my anti on, and the biggest reason I would disclose later why I'm getting hit, but I will just let's go over the account itself. So it is 230 million might, or 240 million might. And as far as the troop comp go, this is a T4 account with about 13 million might. So definitely it doesn't, I mean, it will take hits pretty well. And the comp itself, it has 5 million, 3 in the back. I usually stay in infantry phalanx, but if I see it coming in, I will swap phalanx. And I have about 500k each T4 on this, and you can see a little bit of siege in the unit. But this is a very big comp, big castle, but I probably get hit more than many of the solo traps under 150 or 150 million mites out there. And let's look at the research. Pretty much whatever is required for T4 is done. You'll notice that I haven't done too much on here at all. Just enough to get the T4. I did a little bit on the monster hunt just because that it wouldn't make that much of a difference anyway, like 5-10 million. So I did just a little bit. But I can still only hit level 2, and you'll see if the research itself at this level doesn't add much might. So that's what's there. And if we look at anything else, there's really nothing there. And from the get-go, I think I planned on using this as a trap account, so I did just very minimal 2 quick swaps. If I knew now, I would have probably gone with 1 quick swap, but I don't think second quick swap added that much anyway. And then I did open up wedges, I believe. Yep. And I'm not messing with any of these army offense 2, even though it only adds 91,000, but that is 100,000, and 0.2% army attack is really not going to help me enough to do that. And military command, just enough for a breakthrough. Just your standard typical trap account. Here, pack 3. I would not be pushing to pack 4 on this. I'm trying to keep it low enough. This here, slot 3, and that's it. And nothing here, nothing here. And I haven't even dabbled T5 at all. So that's where it stands. Just typical lowest possible T4 account. Now if we look over here, we're going to see that win rate is very low, and mostly where this comes from is from the beginning. When I first started the account, I used to leave it open so that I get hit all the time. So from the get-go, I was planning for this, and I wanted very bad stats because I knew when I eventually started trapping, it was going to go up. So that's how I that's what I was intended to do. I intended to keep it with bad stats. But you can see I have 2.7 million in quest mine just because I couldn't wait for level 60 once I got everything ready. So I did sacrifice about 3 million extra might that I really didn't need to, but I did sacrifice that. And we have troop might 145. So this T4 account is pretty much about 90 million core might is all I got. And this is still a very new trap account that I haven't started playing too much on. And you can see I've only caught 6 leaders, and leader captured is probably from when I ransomed or whatever. So again, basic T4 account. But one thing about the trap account, you do have to plan it out from the get-go. If you can't just convert something that you had, because you would probably have additional extra might that you don't really need. Okay, so let's go to the buildings. You see no buildings here, and they're all infirm. I think 575k on the infirm space. I guess I can maybe knock this down, and or even the mainer, and get more infirm space. But biggest reason why I'm not knocking this down is because when I build troops, it's mostly going to be T2, and I using 15-hour, this will be 2 days right now, but let's say 5,000 under with training talent, it'll go into way under 1 day. So I wouldn't be able to train, I think, at the best rate if I knock one down. So I'm willing to take that. I'm willing to lose about 40,000 in infirm capacity, just having 2 barracks, I feel, for myself anyway. Okay, so let's look at the wall. What we have here, I've set this, your, again, typical 5. I guess I could swap one for the bunny, but since I figure I was in infantry phalanx, that's what I'm going to stay with, 2 infantry heroes. Also, these stacking familiars, I know it will not proc unless I'm taking a rally. So it will not proc, but I'm in the process of working on it. I'm probably going to just go with straight these level 1s, where it just knock down their infantry HP, knock down their cav HP, and maybe add some range, 15%. And then if I'm getting rallied, I'll probably swap them out to stackers, and I think that'll work well for me. But these are my wall heroes. Now let's go to the heroes itself. So I didn't open or hire any of the heroes. I think only ones I hired are about 9 that when I first started to go through stages. So yes, it was a little bit painful going through the stages, but eventually I got through. And again, these 5 are the ones, or 5 or 6, that's potentially going to be on my wall. Rest of them I did not upgrade. I just left them where it needed to be. But what I'm doing is I'm also, in case I change my mind, I'm actually gathering all the medals for other heroes. So nothing much here, but I do have a lot of heroes that needs to be hired, but I will not. Okay, let's go to next. We'll go to familiars after. Okay, so let's go to familiars. We went through the troop comp, we went through the research, we are going to familiars. Now, big issues with the familiar is it takes so much time for me, just because I only have 9 heroes to train these familiars. So if I were to go here, you could see 9 heroes that are assigned to train the familiars. I cannot train any more than 9 itself. So that's really yeah, I'm using up whatever I can trying to get them up there, but it does take some time. And this account has been playing for how many days? That's really not true, but it's been playing for a while. I mean, it's definitely not 52 days. I must have missed a day or two, but yeah, it's VIP 12. And rest of the stuff like this is minimal. I'm only getting 30,000. Only I still cannot one hit any monsters even with decent Monster Hunt gear, and I believe they're all mostly purple jewels. So I'm still working on that. Yeah, they're purple jewels, and I still can't one hit any of the monsters. I mean, most of the time, most of the monsters take 3 hits. Okay, so how am I trapping solos? How am I getting so many solo hits? This is the big reason. My gear, my research gear, actually ended up getting rid of the chest piece and the main hand, because these also give us research boosts, right? So according to other people's eyes, or when they look at you, it does look like you're in research talent, which they assume that you're out of talent, you're out of gear, so you don't have much, right? But if we look at the stats on this particular set, it actually gives me decent. It's not the best, but you could take a Titan hit without getting too many reds. So 323, 369, 270. As the jewels get better, you can get it up even higher. And HP is 333. So, and most of these are purple, I believe. Oops. Okay, yeah. So they're purple jewels, and so that's giving me pretty decent amount of attack. And if we look at this one here, this one actually offhand will give you, Vice Grips will give you 18% at Mythic on HP. And these flutes also give you a small amount of HP. And you could tell, like, this guy here will give you infantry and range. This will go blue, because I don't think people will suspect too much out of blue either. And then this will go to purple. So I should get a little better on stat wise too. So usually I'll put on anti and leave my quote unquote research gear, and I'll bait solos all day long. I will definitely get enough solos. And the kicker with this particular account, I've thought about it because I got bored with just traditional, comp where we're sitting about 150 million either infantry front with a lot of T2s or range front with T3 range front. Just everything that we've been doing, trying to make it look like we're 160, we're weak, but I don't know. I kind of got bored with it, so this is what I'm going with, and it seems to work great until I guess people find out, that others are using research to trap. Now, one thing about this, I don't think I'm going to increase any more troops. Maybe I'll just keep working on T1 siege and possibly just replenish the troops that I lose along the way. Now, as far as if once I catch or cap a leader, what do? Usually they'll come in with the rally, right? And if it's an 11k Mythic Champ rally lead, I usually will not take it. But most other, and I may take it depending on how I feel. But definitely I want Reigns as far as T4 mixed to come in here. Now, when I do get rallied by somewhat decent rally leaders or whatever, I will swap to my war gear, which something that they haven't seen. It's just jeweled out with legendary jewels in every single one, and I think we're pretty close to taking this guy also to Mythic, which should give me a few more HP. So that's a good sign there. What else we got? Yeah, and stats with this particular gear, let's share that, will give us 450, 464, 463 across, so mid 450s or 400s. It's a pretty decent stat to take rally in, and once I get rained, I'm sitting at about 800 across on T4s, and I got 5 million infantry and 3 million each on range and cav. So I'm able to take decent amount of hits. But yes, most of the time, the biggest reason why I do get solo is because of this gear. But I'm still working on this gear to bump it up a couple notches and add a few more higher grade jewels. Then it should be pretty decent. But yeah, that's the main reason how I'm able to beta solo on this particular account. So I hope that helped everybody, or anybody who was curious about how I'm baiting like 200. I know there's other method of baiting out there, but this particular one I just haven't seen too many of, and I thought it would be fun to try out. So I hope that I helped everybody or anybody who's trying to go a different route. And if you got anything like different way of trapping yourself, hey, share it. Let us hear about it. But again, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks.